So since we've gone ahead and created our project, it gave us uh, a starting point. So we have a resource, we have a method, and we have a request. Our request is pretty empty right now, um, but let me go over what this window is here. So this is the request editor window. It has a few different things here. It shows you what the endpoint is, which comes from the service here. Shows you what the resource is, which comes from the resource here. And then you can put in parameters. The parameters are going to go into this window right here. We will show you that in a second. There's also a play button and a stop button. So this, you can use this to actually make the request, and you can see the output here. The output is going to come in a few different forms that you can look at it. The one we care about is either JSON or the raw. So the JSON request or response will display the information in JSON format. The raw will also do that. It won't be as pretty, but this one will give you all the response headers. So let's add some parameters to this request. So to find out what we need, let's go back over to the Pokemon API documentation. Let's go to resource list. So from here you can see what they're looking for. So it says get API v2, so that is our resource if you come back here. So API v2, and the parameter that they're looking for is endpoint. So let's go here, click on this plus button. Let's call this endpoint, and then the style, usually it's either going to be query or template. So query is going to be anything that comes after a question mark in the URL. Template is going to be anything that comes after the slash. So I'm going to choose template here. If we go back over the documentation, you can see it says API/v2/endpoint. So this is how you know it's a template parameter. All right. So what goes in there? So this is going to take an endpoint name, so, or I'm sorry, a resource name. So any of these we can put in there. So let's try putting in berries. Let's see. I believe it is, if you look here, it's lowercase b for berry. So let's go ahead and do that. B-E-R-R-Y. Okay, and click out of here, and you can go ahead and hit the play button. And look, we've gone ahead and made our first API request through SoapUI. So looking at the raw tab here, you can see here's the response. It has a 200 OK, so that means the request was made and it was received successfully, and it was interpreted so that it gave you back a response. If you look at the JSON tab, you can see it a little more clearly now. So you can see that it's formatted better. So if you need to read if you have a lot of data in here like we do right now, it's easier to read. So you can see that it looks like we have the right response coming back, because everything that's coming back says it's API v2 berry, and then it has a bunch of additional parameters that it's returning. So it's giving us the full list of all the berries is what it looks like. So it looks like there's 20 different berries that came back. But that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple to add the parameters to the request, as you can see, and it just takes one button to play them, and it's very, very clear of what the response is looking at these two tabs.